Hi, my name is Dr. Pitt. I am a methodology expert at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. And today I'm here to talk about kind of the difference of when we use Pearson's R correlation versus when we use simple or multiple linear regression. So first of all, let's kind of talk a little bit about what's the difference. So in Pearson R correlation, it's generally used to describe the association between an independent variable or one independent variable and one dependent variable. This is what we call a bivariate or two variable relationship, basically your X versus your Y. Whereas regression wants to look at something that predicts the dependent variable. So this can be based on a known value of the independent variables, two or more, or if you want to look at a simple linear regression, it's predicting how one variable predicts another one. And also looks to see how those two variables, how close are they to the regression line. The regression line is basically the line between X and Y and where each of the responses tend to fall. So when is it appropriate to use Pearson's R correlation? Well, first of all, as I said, it's a bivariate relationship. So this is when you have two variables, one independent variable and one dependent variable. So for example, if we wanted to see if income would be correlated with a certain level of crime, we would use the Pearson's R correlation. It also looks at examining the relationship among three or more variables. So for example, if people have a positive view of themselves in one aspect of their lives, they will also have a positive view of themselves on another aspect of their lives. It also looks at strength of the relationship. It's not mentioned here, but it also tells you if you want to know if there's a positive or negative relationship. The one thing is there's no difference between the independent variable and the dependent variables. So what does Pearson R correlation tell us? Well, first of all, it tells us how two variables move together or how they are correlated. As I mentioned in the last slide, there is a positive or negative range between -1 and +1. So as close to the value is to -1 or to +1 will generally tell us if there is a correlation. Now, if it's close to 0 or at 0, that means there is no relationship. So the first thing is the strength of the relationship. So we want to take the absolute value of -1 or +1 to define the strength. So for example, if we have a Pearson's R correlation of -0.60 or +0.60, that indicates a moderately strong relationship. If we put the two together, we are seeing that the Pearson's R correlation, or coefficient I should say, of -0.60 indicates a moderately strong negative relationship between the two variables. Similarly, if it's positive, we would say that there is a moderately strong positive between the two variables. So how do I run a Pearson's R correlation? So here I have a video. This is a how-to video on my YouTube channel. You would just click here and it would then tell you basically how to run a correlation in SPSS. So now that we've talked about correlation, let's talk about regression. When is it appropriate to use regression? Well, first of all, regression is used to predict something. In other words, how well is it fitting to the line of one or more independent variables on a dependent variable? We also want to know if both independent variable and dependent variable are different. And we also want to look for a unit of change in the independent variables on the dependent variable, or one independent variable on the dependent variable. So what does simple linear regression or multiple linear regression really tell us? Well, it's basically looking at an impact unit change in the independent variable on the dependent variable. So for instance, if you wanted to know if different levels of self-efficacy or how that was related to job satisfaction, and we got a variable that was like 0.062, we would know that for every unit increase on self-efficacy, that job satisfaction would then increase by that 0.6023. So how do I run a multiple linear regression, SPSS, or simple linear regression? So this is a YouTube video again. You just click here to play, and that will show you how to actually run it in SPSS. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me either here on the YouTube channel or by going to my email at cpit@thechicagoschool.edu. Thank you so much.